Good evening, YouTube family. Tio here with Simplistic Fishing. Hey, tonight we're going out to Fort Worth. We're going west for a subscriber that asked us to break down Lake Worth out in Fort Worth, Texas. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in this thing. Let's see what we can find. Here we go. All right, so let's jump into Lake Worth. This one was kind of interesting. When I looked at the control levels, the water levels for the lake and things like that, it only fluctuates. I think it was like 4 to 5 feet. So when you're looking at it from a Google Earth standpoint, it's kind of difficult to get all of the great images that we've seen on some of these lakes, that we can pull down 10, 15 feet. So this one, we didn't get as much stuff, or at least I didn't think I was going to get as much stuff. But after doing the breakdown, I realized, hey, there are actually quite a few points out here. So let's go ahead and start down here just below the base here. We're going to start right here at this ramp, and then we'll work our way back up, and we'll finish over here by that rock. So the first thing, I guess I should back out a little bit. First thing where I'm at, I'm kind of on the southeast corner of the lake, I guess you could say. Also on the imagery, I went back to October of 2013. That was the best image that I could find. There were some other images that helped me out, on some other things, but really overall, October of 2013 was the best. So first thing, noticing right off the bat, obviously right here, we've got a boat ramp. So I marked that for you guys. And then I didn't see too much going on over here. This looks fairly shallow. Maybe some cover, maybe some frogging and flipping and stuff like that. Maybe check out in here. We'll probably cover that on the Navionics video if there's anything good in there as far as things to fish around that area. So let's go ahead and move on over here. On this point right here, there was some pretty good rock right off the edge of this point. You can see it here. Kind of a difficult image. Let me see if I can get a better image. I don't think I can really. I think I've tried this a couple different times. This one gives you a little bit better one, but you can see there's just some scattered rock all along this point. So this is great places to go whip out those square bills, those medium divers, and just bang it off those rocks, and also those shaky heads and stuff like that up there. So you've got a couple points here with some scattered rock. Definitely be a good place to look at. Some more rock over here off of this point. Same type thing. It's just this scattered stuff. So just check it out. Those all look pretty similar. So not really, great points to fish, but anytime you get a point with you got some scattered rock around it, definitely worth checking out. So back in here, I didn't see too much going on back in there, but there were a couple other things up here. Right here, we've got a boat ramp right by this boat dock. It's kind of hidden in there. Here you've got another ramp. And you guys have heard me talk about boat ramps in the past on these videos. That can be a stellar pattern. So don't overlook this boat ramp pattern. I know it seems really easy to just go and mark all these ramps. And the main public ramps, they're not as good because there's so much activity there. It's hard to fish them, but there's still fish there. But if you can find these ramps, these personal ramps, where these people don't use them a lot, these can be like little honey holes. So definitely take a look at these ramps if you're close to it. Make sure you fish around them. A lot of times you'll find rock around them as well. Just a lot of activity around them. So then moving on down here, not too much going on this bank line, but there is another ramp that's tucked back in here. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There's a little underwater hump out here that you could kind of see where the water was drawn down. Let me bring it back to 2013. This would be April of 2013. You can see where there's a little hump out here. These are always good little hot spots to fish, especially if there wasn't a lot going on that bank line, which there wasn't. And it's fairly close to some deeper water out here. I would definitely take a look at this hump. And again, we'll cover that on the next video when we break down the Navionics side. But I just wanted to show you guys that just so you were aware of it on this video. And then you got another spot here you can kind of see. And again, we'll probably cover this on the when we talk about the offshore spots. But see how this comes out, and you can see the color is just a little bit different. If I draw this back, I don't think we're going to be able to tell. No, we're not going to be able to tell. But I was trying to draw it back to where you guys could get a little better image of it, but can't really get what I'm looking for there. But you can see where this is a little bit shallow point that's coming off. So I just marked it as shallow. And then going back in here, just some additional rock that was back in here that looked interesting. Got a lot of kind of do-nothing banks, but then you got a little rock here on these secondary points. And they almost look like it might actually be like a little bit bluffy back in here. I couldn't tell, the depth per se. But it definitely looks interesting. So all three of these spots look really good, and I marked those as rock. And then moving around here, you've got some rock off of this point, additional rock off of this point as well. So some pretty good points there to fish. You got that shallow point that comes out there. as well as those other points we talked about that were just down to the east there. Then I marked this. I wasn't sure what this was, but it definitely looks interesting. And the reason why is because you see this high spot right here. I can't tell if this is an old road bed, this is an old ramp, or what it is, but if that extends off into the water, which it probably does, that could be a really good spot. It's near a point, so you got a little bit of rocks off this point, you got some brush or something off that point, but this thing, if it goes out a little bit further, that could be a really good spot to take a look at. So look in there and just check it. Again, I just put check because I don't know. I don't know if that's brush, if that's concrete, rock. I really have no idea, but it's something that's different, and so therefore I marked it. So I'm going to keep on moving down here. Didn't see too much going along on this bank line. There were a couple rocks in here, but it's just so stinking shallow right in there. It's probably only like a foot or so. I just didn't even bother to mark them. I didn't want to waste your time. But I did like these over here. See, these are the bigger boulders. So if I zoom in, that's probably about as good an image as I can get. But you can see where they got some really good chunky boulders here, and some more over right in here with the little pipeline coming down. These are good areas, definitely. Never know, there could be a brush pile in here somewhere as well, because this kind of looks like one of those fishing docks. And then if you come over here, you kind of see the same thing. You got these bigger rocks, so you're going to get those nice little drop offs. So you can throw jigs up there, you can throw shaky heads up there, you can throw those crankbaits that I talked about. So all kinds of good stuff that you can throw around these rocks and just bang it off the rocks and deflect off the rocks. Use the drops off the tops of the rocks to the bottom. They're going to hide in those little crevices. And then coming over here, you're going to see more of that rock, so a little bit more shelf rock. Sorry about that. Somebody actually commented and told me how to keep that from doing that, but I lost the comment, so I'll have to go back and look again. But we got rock here. We've got additional rock that's right here as well. You can see it right there. I'm trying to zoom in without getting down to the ground level. And then here was pretty interesting. It's basically like a slab. So if I try, let me see if I can get a better angle on this thing for you guys. It looks like an old roadbed, possibly, or maybe even a boat ramp, but a real nice concrete slab and a real nice indention that comes in here. So I would definitely look at this area. This looks really, really good. And then coming back over in here, you just got some humps and things like that you might want to take a look at. And again, we'll talk about that stuff when we break out the offshore stuff. You got another boat ramp that's over here, and then by this boat ramp, you can see there's some additional rock. And then this little weed line that comes out here, if that still exists, it exists in 2013. I don't know if it still does, but if that does, that might be a good little one to fish around. Kind of a little main lake point, kind of sticking out, might be decent. And this other little point over here looks pretty decent too. You can see there's already a boat on it, but just flipping around that stuff can be really good, or just fishing the edges of that weed line. Then moving on up here, we've got some additional rock that was kind of hidden in here. So you got all this grass or whatever it is. And then right in between it, you got some rocks. So those are always good areas to fish, because you pretty much have you'll hear them talk about, especially on the northern lakes, those transition banks. Well, this is kind of the closest thing we have to a transition bank here. You got brush and crap all over here, and then all of a sudden you turn to rock, and then you go right back to the brush again. So this would be a good area to take a look at. Same thing in here, you got some additional rock. This is that big, huge, like boulder type rock. Some fun stuff to fish around for sure. Good fish attractors in there. This whole area right in here around this dock just looks interesting. There's just a lot of crap around it. There's rocks, there's some debris, there's debris over here, there's just some additional stuff in here. There's a couple of stick ups over here. So this area right in here could be a good area to take a look at. Again, it's another one of those kind of not obvious points, but it's definitely a point that comes out there. And then here we got some additional rock. I've marked some additional rock up here by this boat dock, and this one looked interesting, but the problem is Google didn't give me a very good image of it, but you can see there's some pretty good rock down here around this dock. Then I'm going to zoom back out. Coming up in here, I did mark some rock up in here, but it looks like I'm not on the right year. So let me see if I can get on the right image here and get you guys something a little better where I can see it. And I can't seem to find it. So I'll check that one, guys, and make sure there's rock there. I must have been on a different year when I could see it better. But you definitely have some rock around that point. There could be some additional rock that's out here. And then moving up here, I would just look along this bank line. This whole bank line looks good. I think that's why I put rock there. This whole bank line looks good. So basically you have rock that starts on this point and goes all the way down to here. So this would be a good area to get up, maybe a little bit more parallel with the bank. get those medium divers or get those square bills and really just start banging it off all those rocks and really working this bank, especially if the wind is blowing into this bank. If that wind is blowing into this bank, I guarantee this bank's going to be a good one for you guys to fish. All right, so just moving on up here. Gonna move on back here. We've got this little Willow Island, and again, we'll talk about some of this stuff. If there is anything to fish around there, we'll talk about it. I didn't see anything from a waypoint to really mark for you guys. There was some, interesting stuff here going on with these stick ups and things, but nothing too crazy. Coming back in here though, this looked interesting. I don't know what this is, but definitely some very significant lines down here. I don't know if these are large trees, if it's brush, if it's debris, or what it is, but those are pretty significant. If we're seeing them from, this high up with Google Earth, there's probably something pretty decent to check out there. And then moving up here, we've got another boat ramp. Kind of looks like a community ramp, something like that. It doesn't look too active. And then up here off of this point, we actually have a laydown that's out here that you can just barely see. And again, I can't get my ear right here for you guys. We'll move this back up and see if I can get it. There we go. So you can barely see this laydown that's just right there. Now, I don't know how far under the water this thing is going to be, so it might not be that good, but it's off of a point. So you got a little wood off of a point with some rock. So this could be a good area to fish right in here, definitely. And then you've got this old boat ramp that's over here too. So you've got an old road bed or a boat ramp, not sure what it was, but definitely some concrete structure that's around there. And then you got just the additional rock that's right there above that point. And then if you look at up here, I wasn't sure what to mark this as. I was like, I can't tell if this is a road bed or if this is an old boat ramp, because there are two. So I can't really tell what it is, but you can tell they extend out into the water. And if we move that up to a normal time, you can see those are definitely in the water. In 2019, I don't even think the water's that deep there on that picture, but let's get up a little bit higher and you can see they definitely go out into the water. So this, again, coming off a point with some hard structure, concrete, stuff like that, you can't really go wrong there. So let me get us back to 2013 where we were, or 2014, and I'm going to move on up and we're going to look at some other stuff up here. So here we've got some rock, some additional rock that's right here, kind of hidden in there. So you got a little bit of brush and stuff like that, but then you've got some rock that you can kind of see just right in there. That may be a little secret gem that's kind of hidden back in there. Not too much in here. I was hoping we could get like a creek channel or something like that, but wasn't really too much to mark there. And again, this lake doesn't fluctuate as much, so it's kind of hard to see some of the underwater stuff. Now back in here though, this looked pretty interesting. So when the water's up, this isn't as obvious. And so it's probably fairly shallow back in here. I wouldn't imagine it being that deep, but this creek channel is probably pretty deep for you guys. So take a look at this creek channel. It has a really hard bend right here on the side, and then it comes out this way and basically opens up. And then you've got a laydown that's right there on the front of it. So check out that laydown and check out that creek channel and just see if you can find something out there. That's probably, I think it's, if I remember right, that's one of the most significant creek channels that were in this lake that I could find until we get up further on the north side. So then up in here, again, we just got some additional laydowns that are here. We're not getting a very good image tonight. For some reason, I was able to find a better image somewhere else. So let me go back a couple more times and see if I can find us a better image. If not, you're just gonna have to trust me that there's laydowns there. I can't figure it out. So let's just keep on moving down. So we got a laydown here, and then you got some additional rock that's right in here as well. And then as we move up here, we've got rock along this bank line, and this one looks pretty steep as well. So this could definitely be a good area to take a look at. It looks like you got some timber and stuff that may have fallen into the water and stuff like that as well. And then of course, anytime you're by these bridges and things, these are always good areas to fish around. So you got a point around a bridge, you can't really go wrong. I would definitely take a look at that area. Then we're gonna move on up here. We've got some additional debris that's in the water here that you can see. It's just kind of sticking up. It's not really obvious, but these are old like dock posts, and those are good places to take a look at. And I like how this kind of comes into a pocket. So maybe this is a little bit deeper dock. Hopefully it is. And then you can also see where the old dock was here. And I actually ran this up and I went further up into the years to make sure that they didn't rebuild this dock or anything like that. And it actually looks like it's fallen apart even more than what we're seeing here on this image. So this is going to be a good area to find some debris to fish around and things like that. Then we're going to kind of move up this bank line a little bit. There was some more debris that I found right up in here, just right on the side. You can kind of see it here. I don't know what it is, but I went ahead and just marked it. I cannot tell what that is. I don't know if that's a huge rock, an old boat. It just looks interesting to me. And then right here, you can see some other stuff in the water too, some outlines and some other stuff. So check out this little area here. Not sure if there'll be anything going on there, but anytime you get that debris, it's usually a good area where the fish will collect. And then move it up here. Didn't see too much going on in here, but did see some additional rock along this bank line. You can kind of see it scattered throughout. And then again, here you've got this old dock that's basically just all torn up. So that's, again, real good debris to fish around and stuff like that. Then I'm going to zoom out. We're going to go up here. We're getting up in here to this area where I didn't have too much in here, but I will tell you on the Navionics side, there are some deep holes that are up in here. So I'll mark those for you guys and let you guys know where those are at. And I'll show you something here in a minute as well, as far as some cool things that I figured out with Navionics this week. So moving on, let's talk about this real quick. There is a ramp that's hidden up here. You can't see it. And again, I can't get the right image. I wish I could, because the image that was available to me when I was doing this was actually, you could actually see it just a little bit better than what you could see just a minute ago. So let's see if this one focuses in real quick, and maybe this one, yeah, this is going to be the better one. So here's where the ramp actually comes out into the water. And you could see on the other image that you just saw, it's not nearly as obvious in that image. So this must have been an old ramp. Maybe it's not being used anymore or something like that. But take a look at this and just see if there's anything around this. That could be a pretty good area as well. So then we're going to move on back down. And here, found another ramp here. This looks like a public ramp. And then moving down this bank line. Didn't see too much down this bank line, but did find some stuff that was out here in the water. We've got some debris out in this area. You can see, I don't know what these things are. I don't know if these are crappie things or something that was in the water. If anybody knows, definitely leave a comment. Let me know, because I'm interested just to know what the heck they are, because they're clearly man-made. You can see they make these little squares. I can't get a good image on it, but that's about the best I can get. But you got a good one here. You got some additional debris that's down in here and like an old roadbed that runs through here. So definitely look at all of this. I don't know how deep this is going to be. Probably only going to be, 3, 4, 5 foot of water, but definitely could be a good area. And I really like this little pile here. It really stands out. You've got another one of those piles that's right there as well. All right, so we're going to zoom back out and kind of go down this bank line some more. I didn't see too much going on there, but then when we get down in here, we start getting into some additional stuff. So we got some additional debris that's right in here. You can see a little bit of laydown or something. Can't really tell what it is. It could be an old boat dock as well. It's just really hard to tell, but there's definitely some kind of debris in the water there. And then over here off of this little point, it's got some additional rock that comes out here. So definitely look around here. This looks really good. Got an old boat ramp there. You got some rock that's coming off the tip of this point. That's always good. Anytime you can find rock on the point, that's good. And then you got another personal boat ramp that's back in there as well. And then when you get back in here, it's just kind of scattered rocks. So you've got a little bit of rock that's right in here. It's just like a little pile. You can see it, not much going on. And then boom, we got these really big chunk rock, like big, huge boulders. Boulders to me. So this area right in here would be good. Back here behind this dock's got some additional rock as well. And then if we move over here, I believe there's a ramp over here. Yeah, there's an old ramp right here. I don't even know if this one's even being used. It doesn't look too active. So that could be a really good one to take a look at too. And then you got a ramp here at this marina that you could fish around. And then I'm going to move over here. We're going to go off this point. Again, we've got a rock off the tip of this point. Now, anytime you see these docks that have these really long walkways, that usually means that that's really shallow water behind it. So that might not be that good of a point, because it could be just a really, really shallow point, and that rock could actually be, 6 inches of water. But went ahead and marked it just so you knew that there was rock off of that point. Moving up in here, we've got a laydown. You can see pretty good right here. I like that one. That one looks really good. It looks like someone purposely put it there. And then if you move up here, you got some additional debris that's back in here. You can kind of see it over here. I think what this is those old boat docks where they actually they put the boat on some rails and they bring it up into the dock. I think those are those rails that come out into the water. And I've actually caught some really good fish off those docks that are like that. So definitely flip around that stuff and just see what you can find. And then move it up here, got another personal boat ramp, and then some additional laydowns that were over here. Pretty nice one there, and some additional ones right up in here. You can see it. Let's see if I can get this image right. Some real good laydowns here. So you crappie fishermen that are over there, booyah, right there. Some more laydowns here. This whole bank line was just kind of scattered with laydowns, so I just tried to mark the major ones, but really you could probably, if they're on that laydown pattern, you could probably just work this bank line pretty much from this dock all the way down to the end of those laydowns and just flip around, work your Texas rigs around all of these laydowns, and you could probably have a pretty productive day. So you've got some more laydowns that are here. You've got some up on the bank line as well. Big pile of them here. A little bit more here. You got some more debris here. Again, this is another one of those docks that's basically just falling apart. So you got all this man-made debris that's out there that ends up being really good fish attractors for us. And then you've got some additional laydowns here, kind of going up the bank line. You just see it scattered. Another laydown here. Some debris that's over in here by this dock. Now, this one was interesting because it almost looks like, let me see if I can move this for you guys. It almost looks like there's that thing again, where they pull the boat up. So I don't know what this is, but that looks really good. You probably heard people talk about fishing the stairs of boat docks. Well, that's kind of similar to the stairs. So definitely, if you see things like that, you definitely want to fish them, especially if you're fishing a boat dock pattern. And then moving back in here, this is kind of a blah bank line. So I don't know how much would be going on here most of the time of the year. There are certain times of the year they could come back in here, but there are some laydowns in here. So take a look at these. I marked all the bigger ones for you. Of course, there's not too many here, so pretty much marked all of them here for you. And then back in here, a little secret place, and you hear about these things all the time. You hear pros talk about them too. They talk about these ditches. And this ditch is actually just really defined. You can see it here. If I zoom in, you can see it's really defined. It actually comes up here, it goes through here. And my guess is it probably comes out here quite a ways. You just can't see it. So if they're on a pattern where they're up in the shallow stuff on these flats, in these flat bays and stuff like that, that ditch right there could be a great area for them to collect that, especially if the water temperature is changing. Maybe it got a little colder or something like that, and they were already pushed up shallow. They could come out to this ditch because that's really just the deepest spot that they can find. Even though it's not that much deeper, maybe 6 inches to a foot, they'll still attract to that area. All right, so then moving on over here, we've got a ramp. Just an old ramp, not much going on. And then just pretty much a lot of nothing. Snake Island, which pretty much means I'm not getting anywhere close to that place. We got Wood Island. I'll stay on the Wood Island. You guys can fish the Snake Island. And then back in here, I didn't mark a lot of weed lines on this lake, but this one, for whatever reason, it was just calling my name. So I was like, you know what, I got to do it. So you've heard me talk about before, grass lines, weed lines. It's pretty much, it is the same thing in my book, my redneck book. So you got to lay down here, and then this grass line is really significant right in here. So I would say take a look at this grass line or this weed line, fish around it, just see if you can find any production there, and then definitely fish around this opening where this creek channel comes out. This could be probably, the hotter spot area to fish, along all this other stuff. There's just not a lot going on back in here, but that's definitely something that they would attract to. And then, sorry about that. Then moving on here, I did say to check this area right in here. I don't know what it is, but it looks like something hard. It could be timber, it could be a laydown. I don't really know what it is, but it's something that's hard that's out there. So take a look at it as you see this thing zooming in. You can see kind of scattered white on the top of it. I don't know what it is, but that would be a good area to at least look at or scan around, fish around for a few minutes, just see if you get a bite. Then back in here, this was interesting. This is like a creek that comes way back in here. So I don't know if you can go back in here and fish, but I'd probably go back in there and try to flip around and stuff like that. But if you don't want to go back in there, definitely fish around the opening and then fish these laydowns that are here as well. Just be careful here. This looks fairly shallow. And then I'm going to keep on moving down. We've got another ramp that's down here, kind of hidden here. And again, this can be a good ramp because notice if you look at this bank line, it's pretty much blah, nothing going on. So that is the only hard surface that they can go to in this whole entire area. There's just no hard surface around. So they'll probably attract those boat docks, and they'll probably be attracted to those harder surfaces. Then moving back here, we got a pretty good ditch that was made by some kind of creek or overflow. Not sure what it is, but just got a little ditch that comes out here. So this would be a good area to take a look at. But again, what concerns me about this area is how long this dock is. That means this is super shallow. But my hope is that this ditch actually flows all the way out here. And if it does, out in here could be where that ditch could be productive. All right, so moving on down, we got a couple more ramps. We got a ramp there, another ramp here. And then we're gonna go here around this little point here. It looked interesting, and I thought, surely I'm gonna find some rock off that point or something. But I just didn't find much off of it. But it's a main lake point, so I'd probably just go ahead and fish it. I didn't put a waypoint out there for you guys, so it wasn't anything for me to mark. But main lake point, probably want to fish it for sure. And then when we get down in here, a little bit interesting, we talked about, I said boulders, rocks. You guys laugh at me, they're from the north that know what a boulder is, but these are big, huge rocks. So we got a couple more little pile of them here that you can see. And then if I move up here, there's a few more. There's one right here that I told you to check. So you can see here where it says rock. And then this, I just put check because I don't know what it is. It looks like it could be an old roadbed. If it is an old roadbed, maybe this is it right here where this dark line is, where my little hand is. I don't know if you can see that. So that could be an old roadbed right there, possibly. If not, then that's an old boat ramp. And I'm just seeing stuff. So anyways, either way, there's some kind of hard structure right here and some stuff to fish around. So check this and then fish that rock there as well. Pretty much that whole entire little point there. Then we're going to move around. We're getting back underneath 820. Didn't see too much going on there, but there is some rock here that you can see right here off this bank line. So take a look at that. And then we're going to go back here and we're going to find some more stuff that's over here. We got some debris that's off of this point. Looks like you might have some rock off this point too, but definitely some debris. Some debris over in here. Another one of those old boat docks that's basically breaking down. You got some laydowns that are over here in this pocket. This point looks interesting just because if you see, actually both of these do, you see how it gets light brown? That means that this point is a little bit shallower off the tip of it, so it doesn't have that big drop off. Now, certain times of year, these are the points you definitely want to be looking at, like in the fall or in the post-spawn. These are good areas to look at, so definitely look up in here, especially when shad spawn's going on, and see if you can see any activity off these points. I didn't mark them. There's really nothing on those points to mark, but you can just see that they've got a really good shelf there. All right, then we're going to keep on moving back here. And back in this pocket, just a lot of different things going on. We've got some rock that's off of this little secondary point here. So take a look at that. You can see here pretty good sized rocks. You've got a ramp that's back in here. You've got rocks that are off of this point too. This is more scattered rock here. It's not that big chunky rock that we were looking at earlier, but there's still some harder areas around that point, so that'd be a good area to look at. And then as we get back in here, not too much going on back in there, but there was a laydown that you can see right in here. Let's see if I can zoom it in. It's not gonna let me. There's a laydown right there, right by that dock. So again, crappie fishermen, that's probably a good one to take a look at. Then I'm gonna move on down here. We've got some rocks off of this point. Or I guess it's off the edge of that point. It's taking a minute to zoom in if we're gonna get a good image here or not. We do have some rocks coming along here, so really not a lot going on here. I'd say these rocks probably start right around here and they wrap around this point. So that could be definitely a good area to fish, basically anywhere around these docks and then down to about this old boat dock here, because you've got definitely a scattered rock along that bank line. Same thing here, you've got this rock. Now I really like this, anytime you get these points that go back into something really shallow, this is a good point to fish. It's like a secondary point before they get out to this main lake point. So definitely right around in here, and you've got rocks. So that's always good too. You got some laydowns that are back in here. You can see them right there, just barely. You can kind of see the shadows of them. And as we get back in here, there's some debris as well. This looks like an old boat dock or something that's kind of broken down. And then back here, I don't have a clue what this is. It just looks like a big cooler or something like that. I don't have any idea. It could be a big concrete structure or something like that as well. But It's back here kind of in this little pocket, cove, whatever you want to call it. So definitely check it. And then if you get way back in here, which I thought was pretty interesting, there's like an old pond back in here. I don't know if you could get your boat all the way back in here. This could probably be pretty dangerous trying to get back in here, but if you can fish back in here, that'd be a good area to fish, and all around in here where it really makes that pond dam kind of breaks and comes out into here. This could be a good area to take a look at. It looks like the water's really eroded a lot of the dirt off, and so you got some really good rocks and stuff like that are back there. And then moving up here, we got some additional rocks that are right here by this boat dock. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And again, you kind of got that little point, so wouldn't be a bad area to take a look at. And then up in here, we've got some more additional rocks, just a little pile of them that you can see here. And then we're going to move on up around this point. And here, you've got that scattered rock again. You can see it starts about right here, right where my hand is. And it kind of goes all the way up and around this point. But I like this. This is like an old boat ramp or an old road bed or something like that. But here, you got a nice rock pile that's out here as well. So take a look at that. Take a look at all this rock right in here. This looks really good to you. It's funny because when I broke down this lake, I'd seen the comments that I was like, that lake works easy, just fish the grass. And so I'm thinking this is just going to be purely a grass lake. And this lake actually has quite a bit to offer. It looks like it's got the grass, definitely. But it also has a lot of rock and things like that too. So I'm looking forward to going out and checking out this lake sometime for sure. So then moving on up here, some more rocks coming off of this point. Really, this whole little ledge here looks pretty rocky. It's hard to tell with the shade lines, but definitely probably from about where that red boat is to about right in here looks really good. And then I believe we're getting back down around that base. We are, and so we are going to get back where we started, I believe, which is that original ramp. So that covers us for all of the Google waypoints for Lake Worth. Got it all done in one video. Really appreciate you guys giving me the support that you gave me. Our channel's growing like crazy. We're selling the cards like crazy. So just want to just say a special thank you to all of you for all of the support. We'll continue breaking these things down. Next video will be, as far as breakdowns go, we're going to cover the offshore hotspots for this lake, and then we're going to go out east and we're going to go down and break down the greatest lake of all time, Lake Fork, and I've got Purtis Creek for you as well. So hey, real quick though, I was going to shut this thing off, but I did have one thing that I wanted to show you. I've been testing out the Navionics side on my phone to see if I could figure out how to mark the Navionics spots and then basically move them over to a card for you guys, because all I've been able to do up to this point is just give you the Google waypoints. I did figure that out today. Pretty cool. So I'll be offering these as well for the lakes that I broke down, and I'll have to go back and actually break down, do these on the other lakes as well. But this is super cool stuff. You can actually see the waypoints now on Google Earth. So it's going to be cool. Looking forward to doing it. Not sure why it's not showing up here at the moment, but all these waypoints are actually here. You can see them. I don't know if you can see this one per se, but I'll have them out there for you guys. There they are. They finally showed up. So you can see all of these. Now what these are these are offshore hotspots that I've marked for you guys. So each one of those markers, it has a marker number that is an offshore hotspot. So you can see here now, I've actually been able to complete this for you guys. For if you go out to Lake Worth, if you're going to go out there tomorrow and you've never fished it before, basically for about 15 bucks, you can get the card from Simplistic Fishing, 15 to 20 bucks for Lake Worth. And not only will you have the spots for all of the Google waypoints, which is pretty much satellite guaranteed, defined for you, but you're also going to have these offshore spots as well. So this is basically the best thing that you can get. I'm trying to share as much knowledge as I can to help you guys get out there and catch more fish. And again, just truly appreciate all the support that you guys give me. So until next time, guys, take care, tight lines, and I hope you catch your PB. Have a good one.